Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mace. I'm coming to you from Canada. Hope you are all doing amazing, doing great. Today we're gonna be looking at some videos talking about entitlement in American culture. Let's see what these people have to say. I'll kind of give my perspective on each video, and you guys can chime in down below. Make sure to get involved and leave some comments. I love reading all of y'all's perspectives on things. You'll sometimes point out things that I miss because I'm just doing this, in the moment. I'm not really pre-prepared, right? So let's hop into it. Hope you all are doing good. Let's go.
In American culture where we've gone very wrong, that we have this entitlement, like I deserve a spouse, I deserve a family, I deserve wealth, I deserve everything. And you don't. You deserve what you put out. You deserve the body that you go work at. If you're using the Thigh Master, that's what you deserve. If you're phoning it in every day at the job you have, which is what a lot of employees do. What I hear from most people when I went through the W-2 world and I tried to be the best I could be at every job, and what most of my coworkers said was, when they pay me more, I'll work harder. It's a control.
If anybody knows what the W-2 world refers to.
Control thing.
Yeah.
Right. When I find the person that I'm looking for, then I'll put effort into my appearance or whatever it is that they think needs to be done. My plea to people is to stop doing that, to drop this entitled attitude, to understand that you don't deserve the next step up until you're crushing it with where you're at. And if you're doing that, those opportunities find you like Ryan found you.
Yeah, his points are mainly correct. Nobody deserves anything, and you have to put in the effort, the hard work. It's not just going to fall into your lap. Certainly not. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, and a lot of the times a delayed gratification for things that you are looking for, because it takes the effort, it takes the grind. Of course, you can sit back and be lazy and, just do the bare minimum, but that is not going to give you the results that you're looking for if you're one of those people that thinks everything should just come to you, everything should just fall in your lap. No, you got to put in a lot of hard work. And that point he made about people at work, oh, well, I'm only going to work hard if they pay me more. Well, it's not very good work ethic, and it's not very good attitude to have. My parents always taught me, regardless of the job I was doing, the very first job that I did, I was making $8 an hour, and I said, I'm going to do the job the best I can. I'm going to put in, I'm here, I'm working. Might as well do your best. Because when you do your best, you never know who might be watching. You never know who you might bump into. You never know what opportunities might come your way. So you have to be prepared. You have to stand up tall, and face the world with confidence as best you can. And you're going to fail. You're going to fall. But what matters is getting back up, getting back at it, and learning from those failures, those mistakes, and that adversity is only going to make you stronger, right? So it's an interesting video, and I would say it applies to not just Americans, but many people around the world who have an entitlement, instilled in them, and that's just not how the world operates. And also, I'd say Canada, US, a lot of people, a certain lack in gratitude, right? We're pretty damn lucky, right? We have everything that we need for the most part, and there's a lot of people out there struggling. So you should really be showing gratitude pretty much every morning. You have a roof over your head, you got food to eat. If your problem is, well, they didn't bag my groceries fast enough, or the drive-thru's taking too long, or the ferry's delayed. Like, these are not things to get angry about.
We talk about white privilege, but I think we have American privilege. And this girl shows us.
As an immigrant, I notice things Americans don't even think about. You forget that clean drinking
Comrade
water
mom.
comes out straight from the tap. Your kids can go to school for free and get real education. You forget that the internet here is open. You can Google anything without censorship. You forget how safe it feels when you dial 911 and know that the help is coming.
All of those things we just take for granted. We're entitled. It's our right. When we don't realize that a huge majority of the rest of the world
I don't even know if people acknowledge that it's a right. She's right. They take it for granted. They don't even really think about it. Like, think about it. We've clean drinking water coming out of our taps. That's a miracle. That's amazing. Imagine people 300 years ago, 500 years ago, your ancestors, if they could look at all of the silver spoons you have in your house and all of the ways that life is much easier now. And listen, it's difficult too, but I think we're all taking things for granted now, and social media is definitely skewing a lot of people's perceptions about the world. And unfortunately, there's a lot of difficulties right now as well. But at the end of the day, even at the worst of times, like, we're living a lot better than it was 500 years ago or whatever.
Don't have clean water. They don't go to school. They aren't in a safe environment. They don't have 911.
You forget that police officers are here to protect.
When immigrants come into our country, that is how they should feel. Citizens of this country, that is how we should feel. It's just shameful that we can't see how great this country is. Are we perfect? No. But when it comes to countries, we're pretty darn close. It's a great country.
Yeah, I mean, she still gives me a bit of a Karen vibe, but I'm not going to make any judgments. And it seemed like that woman was from maybe Russia, Eastern Europe. And yeah, it's true. It's probably a lot better than the United States, depending on which country she came from. But it's probably a lot better, more free, a lot more opportunities. And I do think a lot of things she mentioned, like, we don't always compute that it's fairly delicate. Like, it could come crumbling down pretty easily. When you look at the way that our supply chains work and how people rely on the grocery, people really can't provide for themselves. Like, if things deteriorate and there is some sort of dystopian apocalypse, most people are screwed, especially the people in the cities. We even saw, like, there was worries about these type of things during the pandemic, people hoarding supplies, grocery shelves getting very, very bare. And I do think that we need a shift to a more self-sufficient mode of being, but I don't think the elites want that. They don't want people growing their own vegetables, and they want people very reliant on the system and sucking on the TIT.
I think Americans have been programmed that they deserve air conditioning, heater, clean water, stoplights, a car, tennis shoes, clothes, internet, phone service, a dog. You're broken, you got a dog. I love my dog. So what? Maybe you can't afford your dog, bro. How many people live in a house in your country?
Oh, it could range from one person a house to 20 people a house.
So it's probably more like 8 on average.
Sure.
In America, you'll never find that. You could search Miami and not find a house where there's 8 people living in it. But that's what we do here. You'd end up having 8 people in 4 or 5 different homes. God, I deserve my own house, man. I deserve it. And it's got to be mine. See, that doesn't happen in other countries. We're just a little...
I think a good distillation of that thought is when you see bumper to bumper traffic and it's all single occupant vehicles. It's like, and you're sitting in traffic for an hour. Like, this doesn't happen to me because I don't live in a big city anymore. When I lived in Vancouver, this would happen sometimes, but bumper to bumper traffic, you got people waiting for hours in traffic, and it's a majority single occupant vehicles. It's like, you're all going the same direction down this same highway, down this same road. There's got to be a better system for this. It's got to be. What are we doing? What are we doing right now? And there's that, I don't know if it's selfishness is the right word, what he's talking about. Everybody, I deserve my own house. But there's a certain level of like brainwashing, I think, that's been done for people to think that there's certain things that they need, certain boxes they need to check off to be successful.
The thing that boggles my mind about Americans and how spoiled like Americans are, and what I mean are like Americans that have lived in this country, their parents have lived in this country, they've been here for generations. They're like, we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to struggle. We shouldn't have to, work 12 hours a day. Like, we shouldn't have.
I think.
Sorry about that.
Is it that
the thing that boggles comfortably, like, work 12 hours a day. Like, we shouldn't have to. We should just be able to live really well because, like, we're Americans. We should just be able to live really comfortably. Like, we should just be able to do that.
I do think 12-hour shifts are inhumane. But some people got to do them, right? Shift workers, emergency services people. I did work in that industry for a number of years as a 911 police dispatcher. And, 12-hour shifts, they're no joke. They have a large effect on your life.
It's really funny because I come from a different country and I don't know anyone that thinks like that. Like, I come from, China, and I just don't know anyone that thinks like that. Where they're just like, I don't have to work hard. Like, I don't have to do anything over what is average. I should be able to go to work for 40 hours a week, doing a minimum wage job that contributes really nothing game-changing to society, and have a beautiful house, have wonderful cars, go to Disney World whenever I like. Like, those should be achievable. That should not be hard to achieve. Some Americans literally believe that. They literally believe that because they're born in America, that's just what their living standards should be. And I'm like, where do you get this? I don't know a single person in a foreign country, especially if it's a developing nation, that thinks like that. It's just like, oh, like, I just deserve all these things. Like, I don't have to be special. I don't have to be like top in class. I don't have to work extraordinarily hard for all those things. I should just have those because those are just the basic necessities in life. Freaking get out of here, man. We're a very special country. How far we have come from our heyday of
is it that
I think
the thing that
So yeah, I agree with a lot of her ideas. It's just I'm curious,
especially if it's a developing nation, that thinks like that. It's just like, oh, like, I just deserve all these things. Like, I don't have to be special. I don't have to be like top in class. I don't have to work extraordinarily hard for all those things. I should just have those because those are just the basic necessities in life. Freaking get out of here, man. We're a very special country. How far we have come from our heyday of entrepreneurship and creation and production. That's what it is like today. But in Chinese, that's not surprising because we have this phrase, no 3 generations rich, no 3 generations poor. And every country has their cycles. The thing that boggles.
So I'm curious what she does for work. And because I do agree with a lot of her points, but it just seems like her, there is a bit of like pretentiousness there. But maybe it's just the way that she's speaking. But all in all, I think her point has merit for sure.
Is it that an American did that made you generalize that all Americans are selfish and
I watched an American child graffiti their name on the walls of the Vatican, and when the mother realized, they took the pen and then also wrote their name. My friend had to physically restrain me from yelling at them.
Who cares? Everybody should graffiti the Vatican.
The Americans I see in pictures and videos of Americans on vacation or Americans in tourism, that's like other countries, but I even mean like in Disney World, in our own fucking country, they never look like the average American I actually meet. The average American I actually meet is some form of skinny or tone or fit. And like, I'm not fat, but it's like I don't have a big fucking gut. And that's kind of what I mean is like, the Americans I meet are not the American stereotype. However, the Americans in those photos somehow are. And I think I know the reason why. Because the Americans in those photos look like my boss. They look like my manager. They look like all the fucking boomers that lived and grew and worked in an era where we still had pensions that paid out for the rest of our lives after we quit. And so they're the most entitled Americans. They are the Americans that we also hate. They're the Americans that are driving down class consciousness. They are the Americans that are causing a lot of the problems in our country. And they're the ones going to other countries and building this stereotype that you see of us. If you're on...
He seems a little angry and a little bitter, but yeah, I wouldn't say there's, I think, a discussion to be had around criticisms of certain generations, but you can't blame the entire generation. And there's much deeper and more complex reasons and reasoning for the situation that we're in. Namely, the economic system and the way that it operates.
On TikTok or Instagram, you might have seen that one lady who is researching an endangered species of, I think it's a raccoon, on this nature reserve that is also a tourist location. And she has started wearing a bikini to work because men and women included have been bothered by her breaking their immersion because she was walking around wearing work attire. They felt so entitled to their vacation, they policed a worker's uniform. Like, it wasn't even about her looking good. It was about these entitled ass motherfuckers wanting to feel like they're around people who are like them. And just one person was enough to bother them. The vast majority of Americans are working class, and I'll give you a quick 101 on what the working class American experience. Those of us that can afford food and rent are usually dealing with some other kind of financial burden because they use it as a tool to keep us scared. Now, those of us that even get paid enough for all of that, one, we're going to be too afraid to use our money because we know that we're just one bad trip to the hospital away from starving again. And the jobs that have vacation benefits often don't pay enough to make it worth leaving and have some kind of buyback program to make you encouraged.
So it's interesting because when I was watching that other woman's points about, well, entitled Americans just don't want to work hard and they want to be lazy and they still expect everything. Well, she would just say to this guy, wouldn't she just say to this guy, well, just work harder? And you, right? Like, how come you're not making enough? How come, right? Like, just work harder, dude.
Not to actually use that time. And let's say we get past all of that. I have not had a job so far that didn't put vacation benefits behind some kind of requirement that was difficult to meet just to avoid paying it out. And so how did the American working class reach such a sorry state? It's because the entitled American class has...
Well, get a better job. What are you, entitled to vacation benefits? Like, that's the vibe that I got from the other lady. Not that her points didn't have merits. I just think she should also understand that there's a lot of valid criticisms of the way that the current system is operating. And there is a lot of people working really hard. And it's not because they're not working hard that they're not getting ahead. There's a lot going on.
Made a habit for over 50 years of voting away rights from women, from people of color, from immigrants, and from their own fucking youth to avoid sharing their entitlement because somehow it feels like an attack to them. The Americans I see in pictures and...
Yeah, I think he had a lot of good points too. So it's cool to see these differing viewpoints, and I make sure you guys chime in your thoughts as well. I appreciate seeing what you guys have to say.
I love how you're just proving my point about the entitlement. We aren't saying you can't walk it. We're saying you shouldn't walk it for two reasons. One, it's illegal to do so. You're gonna get arrested pretty fast. And two, you're gonna be turned into like a pile of gore on the highway or freeway because of the cars. So if you want to play Frogger IRL...
I think I would definitely need some more context to this. It seems to be some sort of debate or conversation around transit, public transit, infrastructure of some kind, with people
on the streets
that are used to European infrastructure.
We warned you not to do it because it's very dangerous to do it here.
Or
but you guys wanted
Japanese,
to have this
Korean
entitlement about, oh well, they say we can't do it, so I'm gonna fucking do it to just prove them wrong. So go right ahead. At this point, I don't give a shit. Have fun walking that distance. Do I like how they're upcharging all the stuff? No, I don't. But then again,
Seems to be some sort of conversation around walkability in the U.S. maybe, or North America in general, because I know a lot of European infrastructure, Asian countries have much better, and not just public transit, but the walkability and mixed use areas. And you have residential, you have retail, you have stores, grocery stores, hospitals, a lot of different businesses and things in an area to make things more livable. So I'm not sure. I need more context. Let's go to the next one. Yeah. All right.
You know I got the sauce. You know I'm saucy.
I've never met so many entitled people in my life until moving to America. And then the entitled ones love to ask, why you come here then? Need more context, but I think I get her point. What is it with the entitlement of Americans on this app? Why do they think that they're the only English-speaking country? Why do they comment on videos assuming everyone is American? We're not all under a dictatorship of a moldy orange. This is ironic. It's usually the people outside of America assuming everyone is American when they say something that may not be smart. Here's an example. For the art and the different language set me off. Americans when languages other than English exist. I'm not American. I just saw the art and thought, is this AI? Then I looked for other clues, and instead of thinking it was another language, I thought it was AI. It's really not that deep. Yeah, that's the internet, social media for you.
Holy shit, every single justification coming from people who are pro-military and pro what the United States is doing is entitlement, 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 entitlement.
You hate the majority of people in the USA. I wouldn't say hate is a strong word. What does Yoda say? Hate leads to fear. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. I don't know what the quote is, but Yoda, you need to talk with Yoda. Entitled to supremacy and morally bankrupt about what that costs the rest of the diverse world. Okay, a bit of word salad here, but...
You guys feel entitled to keeping the norms in place that is literally killing millions of people because we feel we need to have control in the economic and military sphere. I hate the majority of my country. I'm a United States citizen, lived here my whole life. I've left the country once to go to Canada. Okay, I hate the majority of you because why do you feel entitled to keeping things the way they have been for the last 75 years? You're gonna be in for a rude awakening when you realize that we really don't have the might to carry the big stick. And I don't know why none of you are like comfortable naming it as entitlement. Every time I point out the word entitled, you guys are like, well, deserve is a weird word here. We just have to keep the norms in place. I just really like how my life is. And I don't want to live like these other nations. These other nations would be better off living like us. And you don't even recognize that the reason why they can't live anywhere near like we do is because we are oppressing them. Holy shit, every single justification coming from people who are pro-military and...
She said a lot, but yet didn't say that much. I think she's oversimplifying, again, pretty complex things. I think there is tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of Americans that overall agree with her sentiment that, yes, the U.S. needs to change. I think things are shifting. We're at a kind of a crossroads, but there's still no denying that American military supremacy is a thing. It's going to be a thing, but I think things are shifting, certainly. The way that China has been catching up. I don't know. Superpowers aren't quite the way they were in the past. But I don't know what her solutions are. That's what I would say. Like, how do you change this? Okay, you got to get... First of all, you need to elect a different leader. But at the end of the day, you're stuck in this binary system in the US, and Canada, much the same. You're stuck in a system in which the options when you're voting are very slim. Very, very slim. And you're either going to get, in the US, you're going to get a Democrat or a Republican. And these people are much the same. They have, lobbyists and donors from many different stakeholders in which want to exert their influence, and the president, whoever they are, they essentially end up being a puppet just for various slight differences in the interests. But at the end of the day, it helps the Bezos of the world, the Musks, the billionaires, the elites, and the way the system, tax cuts, yeah, I don't know. You need grassroots. I think start locally. Stop trying to change an entire country at once. I don't know what the answers are, really. Short of a revolution, short of like French Revolution style coup. I don't know. So this entitled mom stands in front of a bowler to take pictures of her family and completely forgets that there are in fact other people in this world. Yeah, this type of person pisses me off. Certainly a Karen. I'd say move. Excuse me. I would say I'm trying to bowl. Trying to bowl here. And I'd say over the line. Fuck it, dude. Let's go bowling. Big Lebowski. I'm gonna watch that again.
Can you do that for us?
Do not trigger me.
I'm not trying to trigger you.
You're arresting me, aren't you?
Yes, we're putting you in handcuffs.
Just go ahead and
No! Talk to you.
I'm not being arrested!
Once Alexis realized she was
In fact,
probably
you
being
are.
arrested, her behavior changed fast. Officers tried to keep it calm. They let her walk with a female officer, gave her space, and explained that they only wanted to talk. But even simple instructions became arguments.
Put that down for her.
Why?
So that you can have a seat in the car.
I can sit down with it. My phone's to text my boyfriend.
Okay, so you can't have a phone in the back of the car either.
I need him, though.
At first, officers were just trying to get her seated safely.
I think this type of person, they might have some more underlying issues, right? They've never been told no, but I think at the end of the day, there's some underlying issues that might need to be addressed, and that's the reason that they're acting this way. So at the end of the day, I just feel bad for them.
Over here. We'll talk over here.
Okay, we're just getting like entitled Karens now at airports. We're getting into just entitled people in general, getting away from the topic that I was bringing up with this video.
Only in America
There we go.
can you be from America, talk about America and the experiences of the different cultures, you know, as you traveling around the world. You feel what I'm trying to tell you? And you have American people tell you that you can't come back to America. What, you gonna wait at the airport and stop me going home?
Who said that you can't go back to America? There's a lot of people who feel so entitled and superior to others that they say and behave as if they own America and your life is controlled by their hands. This is America. Philippines is in the hashtag Philippines. So yeah, I don't like who told you you can't go back and what authority. Like they don't have no authority. Who cares? There's a couple people, racist people. What? Just ignore it. You can go back. Go back. It's a free country, kinda.
Can you do that for us?
Do not.
Or not doing anything.
All right, I think that's about enough. Yeah, a lot of interesting videos in there. Interesting topics of conversation. I'd certainly like to get into a more back and forth conversational content, but I would need probably another creator to do something like that. So anyways, we'll see you all in the next one. Make sure to chime in down below. Like I said, I gotta go to work, so peace out.